All right, so I got a little bit of time to play this out here. I've been I've been thinking about some things, but the first thing we have to do is the Americans. They get a turn here. The lone American reinforcements. We can think of this as Tom Hanks and Matt Damon. And Matt Damon's going to have to roll to see if he will put up and shut up, and he does. So he is rallied. And now we got to draw a card for the solo assistant, and this is the card here. I drew that previously before I started the video. And the orders are, so it's 1, 2, 3. So they have a tow, so they're at point blank range, so they're going to follow the red priority orders, which if they're disrupted they would move, otherwise they're firing. And so that's what they're going to do. And even though it's it's long range, so I think the infantry gets to use its black firepower along with the tow. No, I think that's probably not true. So the tow is going to fire. It's going to need, although, you know what I better check? Is this one of those minimum range situations? Let's see. I guess it's not in one of these things here. So we're going to just go ahead and, well, if it's minimum range, the minimum range is 3. So, but you know what? So do the Americans want to take a shot at this already reduced tank, or do they want to wait for a juicier target? Nah, they're in dire straits. They're going to shoot. They get 5 dice, needing 3s for point blank range. Oh, that just seems like, yeah, they're going to take the shot. 1, 2, 3 hits, and so it gets 3, 4 dice. Actually, do recs give? Anybody know? Anybody know? Is a rec a terrain bonus dice? It is. It is. So this produced tank platoon here gets 3 of its own armor save dice at 5. And then it gets 1 for the woods and 1 for the Rex, and so it gets a total of 5 dice, needing, what did I say, 5s, right? Needing 5s. Terrain saves are always 5. This armor's save is also 5. So they successfully saved 1 of the 3 hits, which means they are disrupted and reduced, which means they are wrecked. So I think that we'll say that James Ryan earned it by eliminating that threat. And now we have to pick the next, nope, that's cards, not turns. We got to pick the next formation to activate. And here comes the East German infantry. Now, I have been in a little bit of a quandary about this. There's a couple ways for them to come. They can bring their amphibious vehicles, the VMPs too, or their infantry fighting vehicles are amphibious, so they could come down here and ford the river to try to make an attack from this direction, and avoid looping around here and exposing themselves to potential fire, including potential artillery fire. They also, the armored fighting vehicles can move half of their movement and then unload the infantry into an adjacent hex. And so I've also got a stacking problem, right? If I wanted to just come down here and unload infantry into this hex and let them walk down this road, then I'd be blocking that hex. So these are all the weird random thoughts that I have. The main thought I have is I want the infantry to not be sitting inside the armored personnel carriers when the A-10 shows up as much as possible. And so we're going to go ahead and go 1, 2, 3. And so now, actually I should have done this first. I'm checking line of sight here. So there's no line of sight there. No line of sight there. There is line of sight there, and there is line of sight there. And so we need to be careful about where we're driving here. But they're going to go ahead and unload their infantry. Now, the infantry still got a fair slog to get down there, but it seems to me that based on the game that my friend Brad and I played a while back, having your infantry sitting in the vehicles when they could come under fire ends up being a pretty bad idea. And, oh, you know what? So I forgot something. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to pretend that didn't happen yet, and we're going to call in a smoke mission. So let's see where the line of sight is here. They've got line of sight straight down. Yep, they could call in a smoke mission anywhere they want. So we're going to try to drop a smoke mission. We have smoke, right? Yeah, 2 smoke missions and 2 high explosive missions. We don't need the HE yet, but we're going to drop a smoke mission down here if we can. So this recon vehicle is able to call in artillery, and so it doesn't have the automatic fire for effect thing that some of the units do. Does this headquarters? I think this headquarters here has an automatic. I thought. Oh wait, is this not? Well, okay, they're going to fire for effect. And you know what we're going to do here? We're going to go ahead and do this, and I'm going to just realize that this is the place where we're doing the drift check, that's not an effective smoke mission just yet. I didn't want to look for the counter. So yeah, I'm going to just pause for a second, make sure I know how to do the drift check. I haven't done offboard artillery in a while. All right, so I'm rolling a die here, and a 6 leads to scatter, so no scatter. So that falls where it's meant to fall. And now what happens when you call in smoke is that one smoke marker appears in this hex, and then you place another marker adjacent to it and another marker adjacent to either of those recently placed smoke hexes, right? So I can go here, here, here. I wonder if they have other smoke markers. That I imagine they must. So here's the fire for effect. All right. Yeah, there's our smoke marker. So we're going to get rid of this, make it look more the way it's supposed to look. And there is a smoke, and there is a smoke, and there is a smoke. Actually, we're going to do this instead with our smoke. So we started here, then adjacent, then adjacent. Because the smoke will persist for this turn and next turn, and what I'm hoping is that on the next turn, yeah, right, I'm hoping on the next turn I'll be able to get my infantry in place. And so like I said, I reserve the right to cheat, and I'm going to cheat here. I am going to start the movement all over again here, because since we have a smoke screen, I feel like it's worth the risk to keep our units mounted up for a little while. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Sorry for all that. 4, 5, 6. Yeah, okay. And now we're going to, one thing that we're going to try not to do, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right, okay. One thing that we're going to try to do is not have giant stacks of loaded infantry. In a game that my friend Brad and I played, having your infantry loaded in the vehicles close to the enemy was not a good plan. But when have I ever been one for planning? The headquarters fellows are going to wait a little bit. Sorry for this giant mess again. All right, so now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And as before, they're going to have another unit peel off there. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think that they'll take the risk of leaving themselves stacked there just for purposes of, gosh, I'm so forgetful. So the first thing is I forgot to reduce my smoke missions, right? So I fired off a smoke mission. Bang, there it is. It is used up. And we got one left. And so the infantry with the headquarters, I need to know their command range so that I can figure out where I want them to end. They're going to be here in the woods. You just have to trust me that they had enough movement to get there. They did. And so now we've got to get the rest of the formation going. The mortar has a range of 9, so it's like here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So the mortar is going to have to get closer. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 movement points for the truck. And now we've got some anti-tank units and another set of infantry here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think that we'll have the infantry out there and the anti-tank vehicle, the BRDM anti-tank right there, hoping it doesn't get attacked by the warthogs. And now we've got the follow-on units here. We have this recon unit. What he's going to be good for is the spotters don't get marked ops complete for calling in artillery here. The unit that does the fire gets marked ops complete. So we could, at this point, we could try to call in some offboard artillery here, but I think it makes more sense to get that fellow in range. So this guy is going to move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and take up another position where is he okay there? Yeah, the hill's protecting him from these units here. If these units move up, he'll come under some fire. But he is going to move there because it gives him a little closer, a little better vision on things to check out for potential artillery missions. I could call in a second offboard artillery, by the way. We could call in another smoke mission, but we don't think that's necessary. So here we have, now these are the tanks, right? These are the old T-55s. They're not great tanks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What they're probably good for is trying some volley fire or something. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now these support units, the anti-aircraft unit, which, gosh, maybe, well, we're going to want that, but we also need it to be in command. 2, 3, 4. They won't be in command there. 5. It's going to go their own separate ways. That's going to go 6 there, and the artillery is going to stay on the road. And so that is the East German infantry. That's all I got for them. I think it's safe to say that I am not super well versed in how to conduct operations at this scale. That's true for just about any scale. But hey, it's still a great game. And there we go. And now let's see who comes next. If the East German designated formation card pops out. That would be a boon of luck for them. It's the Soviet designated formation, so that's fine for them. That allows them to fire up their T-80s, and the T-80s are back here getting harassed by these tanks. I guess, I could go ahead and just try to shoot at the helicopters, but they'd be rolling one die, needing a 6, basically, or 2 dice or something. It seems like they need to get down here and try to get into the fight. So, 1, 2, 3, 4. Oops, sorry, we have to cross the road. We have got to cross the road. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They're in the woods. I feel okay about that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They're in the woods. They feel okay about that. It's not ideal. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Six, they're in the open. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5, 6, they're in the woods. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, they're in the open. So the ones who got ordered to run into the open are pretty unhappy with their CO right now. But, they could also be sent to a penal battalion if they want to raise Cain. All right, who's coming next? End of operations, and now it's once again the T-80 tanks. So that, I think, was a real stroke of luck for the Warsaw Pact and for the Russians in general, because that gives them a chance to get their tanks down here close enough to the East German tanks that they might be able to start getting some protection from this anti-aircraft missile. All right, let's see how we do here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We'll put the headquarters 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We'll put them in the rec hex so they get some defensive bonus. Badly messed up some of these moves here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Should have left them on the road there. Save a movement point. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to do another one of our cheat things here. We're going to say that they moved first. 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, there they are. They're all moved. They're all ops complete. And who's up next? All right, the B Company, 3rd of the 8th of the 1st Infantry Division. So I'm going to check command here. And so they've got pretty good command range. Now, there's going to be a lot of me thinking out loud again. Well, actually, let me go ahead and roll. See if they can reload. Finally, they do reload. So they are not low. They are not out. We're just cycling through the options. They are reloaded. So it's lucky for the East Germans that this formation went well, it doesn't matter. Never mind. Disregard almost everything that I've said there. So, you know what? So this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I was wrong about something. This Abrams had line of sight down here. So I'm going to do a little bit of a makeup call. I'm going to give them a free shot. I'm going to just say they're shooting at this unit here and that they caught that unit in the open. All right, so we're going to roll our dice here. So now we've got 6 dice because of the headquarters, needing 5. This is effective range, not point-blank range. So 6 dice needing 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. So what happens is, I'm just going to right here. So the first two hits are going to go to this, to the armed personnel carrier, because the infantry was loaded. Now let's come over here and see what happens with combat results when you have loaded units. I'm pretty sure that they, well, no, actually, because there are 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, so that it gets one save. Let's see if we can save it with a 6. Oh, it did save, so that's only 3 hits. So that disrupted, reduced, and eliminated the armored personnel carrier, but it did not. The hit did not carry over to the infantry. But so we're going to get to the combat effects here, and we're going to see what they say about transport units. Right, so unit is disrupted, passenger is disrupted. If a unit is reduced, it could reduce or not reduce. If it is eliminated, you roll 1d6. On a result of 1 to 3, the passengers are reduced and disrupted. Otherwise, they are eliminated. So let's see what happens here. They are eliminated as well. So, oops, wrong. Oh no, here we go. Yep. Wipe out infantry. Bang. So that was a previous turn. So now that tank was ops complete, and they are now active again, and they are now going to see if they have line of sight and range to any other unit. They do have range up there, if nothing else. They would love to take out a closer unit, but it doesn't look like they can. It does. When it passes a hex intersection, what is that? I'm going to call that. I think that means it clips this, and I think that means that it's blocked there. So the next, oh, well, they're not going to run across the open field like the light brigade or anything. The next thing to check is right here. And so, yeah, so they're going to do the same thing that they just did. They're going to take a shot with 6 dice, needing 5s. And that's 2 hits. And so the armed personnel carriers are in the open, so they get a single die roll. And, oh, their armor is a 5. These BMPs are pretty good. Single die roll, needing a 5. And it saves one of the hits, so it is disrupted. And when a vehicle is disrupted, if it has passengers, they are automatically disrupted as well. So that was pretty well served by the, I did it again. I forgot to check the solo assistant, didn't I? Well, that was almost certainly the best thing to do. But let's go to the solo assistant now, see if they agree with me. So it was this effective range and fire was the first order, and if that wasn't possible, move towards. So now that order is also going to apply to this unit if it has line of sight, but I don't think it's either clipping the hill or the tree, so they cannot do anything. Now let's see what it says. I'm mandating that this APC stays here to haul those troops out of there if need be. But let's see what the solo assistant says as secondary orders. So it's not disrupted. It's not in 0 defensive bonus. The largest group of good order solo assistant units closest to a victory objective or unit is going to fire. But I can't fire. We don't have line of sight, and there's no disrupted or long-range move away, execute victory conditions. So there's, according to the solo assistance instructions, there's nothing that this outfit can do here. And in fact, I'm actually a little bit happy with their placement, because they're going to at least get to take a crack at the East Germans as they try to make that assault. And now does the card say anything about indirect fire? It does not. So I wonder if I'm doing that right with the solo assistant. It doesn't seem to call for indirect fire very often, even when there's an option. And boy, this would be a heck of a time to unleash some NATO artillery here. We've got air-delivered minefields. How have I... So I don't know what the solo assistant says about air-delivered minefields. I don't know how to wrap my head around that. It just seems like that is the absolute bee's knees right now. It seems like, why would they not be doing that? And so, I don't know, I'm trying to stay true to the solo assistant, but the truth is also that in previous draws I did not check. So you know what, I'm going to do a little bit of weird stuff here. I'm going to just start looking through. So here, this card would have ordered off-board or on-board indirect fire. The secondary orders doesn't seem to have anything in there. I'm going to make sure this card stays on top because it's the most recent draw. Again, no off-board. No off-board, no indirect fire actions called for. Yeah, no. Right, so doesn't it seem strange that the solo assistant in a defensive scenario would not be calling for indirect fire when it was available? Here's another one, so that's, you know, 2 out of the 7 cards we've seen so far. There's another one. Oh, there's another one. Okay, so I guess we just kind of had bad luck. All right, well, enough of those musings. Back to the game. Now, you know, certainly as the player, I am free to override things, and so I think I'm going to do that. I think I'm going to make a spotter check. Actually, I'm going to have to pause the video here because I am going to work in a few minutes. So when I come back, we will finish B Company, 3rd of the 8th Infantry Division, by doing some spotter checking. And, oh, look, that's got a line of sight right there. They ought to drop a mortar on them. Okay. Yeah, we will end it here for now and begin again soon.